Summer 1940. A terrifying silence settled over Europe. The guns in France had stopped firing. The panzers had stopped rolling. The German war machine had devoured the continent in 6 weeks. Now it stood at the water's edge, looking north. Only one domino remained standing. Great Britain was alone. Her army had been rescued from Dunkirk, but they had left their tanks and guns behind. They were naked. Adolf Hitler did not want to fight Britain. He expected them to sue for peace. He waited for the phone to ring. It never did. Instead, Churchill roared, "We shall fight on the beaches. We shall never surrender." The gauntlet was thrown down. Hitler was furious. He ordered Directive No. 16, the invasion of Britain. Code name, Operation Sea Lion. But the German army faced a problem they could not solve with tanks. The English Channel, the greatest anti-tank ditch in the world. The Royal Navy controlled the sea. If the Germans tried to cross, they would be massacred before they reached the shore. To cross the sea, Germany needed to control the sky. They had to blind the Navy and destroy the Royal Air Force. Goering promised his Führer, "My Luftwaffe will smash the RAF in 4 days." He had the largest air force in the world. The numbers were terrifying. The Luftwaffe had 2,600 aircraft ready to attack. The RAF had 640 fighters. But Britain had an ace in the hole, a secret web of steel towers lining the coast, the chain home system. Radar. It gave the British a guard's eye view. They didn't have to patrol the sky. They could wait on the ground until the enemy was coming. The nervous system of this defense was the dowding system. Information flowed from radar to HQ to the pilots in minutes. And then there were the planes. The Hawker Hurricane. Rugged, stable, a gun platform. It was the workhorse. And the Supermarine Spitfire. A masterpiece of aerodynamics. Fast, agile, beautiful. The only plane that could match the German fighters. But the planes needed pilots. The few. Average age, 20. Some had only 10 hours of combat experience. July 10th, 1940. The probe begins. The Kanalkampf. The Battle of the Channel. Goering sent his Stuka dive bombers to attack British shipping convoys. He wanted to draw the RAF out to sea. It was a trap. The German Bf 109 fighters waited high above, ready to pounce on the Spitfires when they came to save the ships. The British commander, Hugh Dowding, was too smart. He refused to send his main force. He sent only enough to fight, not enough to lose. The battles were savage dogfights. The sky was painted with contrails, a chaotic dance of death. The Stukas were terrifying, but they were vulnerable. The Spitfires tore them apart. But the British were bleeding too. Pilots bailed out into the freezing sea. If they weren't found in minutes, they drowned. For a month, they skirmished over the water. Goering was frustrated. The RAF refused to die. August 1940. Hitler issued a new order, Adlertag, Eagle Day. Start playing with ships. Destroy the RAF on the ground. The target changed. No more convoys. Now they came for the radar stations and the airfields, their eyes and the nests. August 12th. The first blow. The radar station at Ventnor was smashed. The British were partially blinded. Then, August 13th. Adlertag. A massive armada of 1,500 German aircraft flooded the screen. The real battle had begun. The fate of the free world now hung by a thread woven by boys in Spitfires. Mid-August. The battle moved inland. The Luftwaffe stopped hunting ships and started hunting the hunters. The target, the RAF airfields. It was a war of attrition. Every day, The airfields were bombed. Hangars burned. Operations rooms collapsed. The ground crews worked in craters. The pilots were exhausted. They slept in their flight gear. They ate by their planes. They flew 5, 6 sorties a day. They were the few, and they were getting fewer. Britain was producing enough planes, but it was running out of men to fly them. The life expectancy of a new pilot was measured in weeks. Some died before they even unpacked their bags. To survive, the RAF relied on foreign courage. The Polish, the Czechs, the Canadians. The 303 Polish squadron became legends. The Poles fought with a fury the British hadn't seen. They closed to point-blank range. They didn't just want to shoot down their enemy, they wanted to destroy them. By late August, the RAF was breaking. The German strategy was working. 11 Group, defending the south, was on its knees. If the Germans had continued attacking the airfields for another week, the RAF might have collapsed. Their invasion would have begun. But then, the fog of war intervened. An accident that changed history. August 24th. A lost German bomber crew, thinking they were over the countryside, jettisoned their bombs to save fuel. They hit London. Civilians died. It was a mistake. But Churchill didn't know that. Churchill ordered immediate retaliation. Bomb Berlin. The RAF Bomber Command was sent deep into the Reich. The damage to Berlin was minimal. A few broken windows. A dead elephant in the zoo. But the psychological shock was massive. Hitler flew into a psychopathic rage. He screamed at a rally, "If they attack our cities, we will erase theirs." He made a fatal tactical error. He ordered the Luftwaffe to switch targets. Stop attacking their airfields. Attack London. September 7th, 1940. Black Saturday. The Luftwaffe returned. But this time, they ignored the RAF bases. They flew up the Thames estuary, a river of silver leading straight to the heart of the empire. The target was the London docks, the warehouse of the world. The docks erupted. It was the start of the Blitz. For 57 consecutive nights, London would burn. But as London burned, the RAF breathed. The pressure on the airfields was lifted. The runways were repaired. The pilots slept. It was a cruel trade. London suffered so that the RAF could survive. The German leader had saved the British Air Force. September 15th. Battle of Britain Day. The climax. The Luftwaffe launched everything they had for a final knockout blow. They expected weak resistance. Instead, they hit a wall of Spitfires. 11 Group was fully operational. Winston Churchill visited the 11 Group bunker. He asked Air Vice Marshal Park, "What reserves do we have?" Every single plane was in their air. If this attack succeeded, the war was lost. But the Germans broke. Their bombers, ravaged by fighters, dropped their loads randomly and turned back. It was a disaster for the Luftwaffe. They lost 60 aircraft in one day. They realized the RAF was not dead. It was stronger than ever. 2 days later, Hitler postponed Operation Sea Lion. Their invasion was off. Britain was safe. The Battle of Britain was won. But the suffering was not over. The Blitz had only just begun. September 1940 to May 1941. The Blitz. For 8 months, the people of Britain lived in the front line. The London Underground became the world's largest bedroom. Thousands slept on the platforms, deep beneath the burning city. It was a communal life of fear and defiance. They sang. They drank tea. They waited for the all clear. Above ground, the fire service fought a battle against hell itself. The second great fire of London. The Luftwaffe tried to guide their bombers using radio beams, the Nickerbeam, invisible rails in the sky leading to the target. But British science fought back. Dr. R.V. Jones bent the beams. He jammed them. German bombers dropped their loads in empty fields. The Blitz spread. Coventry, Birmingham, Liverpool. No city was safe. Coventry was martyred in a single night. But the morale of the British people did not break. Hitler believed terror would make them surrender. Instead, it made them angry. The RAF night fighters, Defiance and Beaufighters, began to take a toll. Airborne radar allowed them to see in the dark. By May 1941, the attacks began to fade. The German focus was shifting again. Hitler had lost patience with Britain. He turned his eyes to his true obsession, the East, the Soviet Union. The Battle of Britain was over. The invasion was cancelled forever. Sea Lion had drowned. It was the first major defeat for the German war machine. The myth of invincibility was shattered. Whatever happened next, Britain would be there. An unsinkable aircraft carrier. A base for the future liberation of Europe. Churchill spoke for the nation and for history. Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. They were not supermen. They were boys, bank clerks, students, aristocrats, united by courage. They saved Britain, but they also saved the world. If Britain had fallen, there would have been no D-Day, no victory. The scars of the battle remain, the craters in the fields, the ruins of the churches, the empty chairs at the dinner tables. But the legacy remains too, the spirit of defiance, the triumph of freedom over tyranny. The Battle of Britain proved that a free people, armed with courage and technology, could stand against the ultimate evil and win.